Welcome back to the Aspin Shed from a different angle. We've mainly for the last few months done absolutely nothing. The inspiration hasn't been with us. Neither has the force come to that. Anyway, what I have just been playing with is in my trade as auto locksmith, which I haven't done any of since this COVID pandemic. I've been keeping my head down. I had a bit of a bad do, as I probably said before, in January, so I've just kept away from it and I haven't done a tap. Anyway, what I've made the tool for is to remove the roll pin that secures these blades in a flick remote. That obviously has had the pin removed, and there's a tiny little tuft or hole which 1.5mm by 10mm roll pin lives. Now normally to get them out, they're not too difficult if you've got the right tool, and this is the normal tool, and a vise to get them out, but it's rather uncontrolled. You don't know what's happening. So what I've made, well, this is the prototype, is a pin ejection tool, and the theory being that you can, where are we? I don't know how I show this. I've got another bit of video that shows it working. Put the tool on like that, wind the handle, and it progressively pushes the pin out in a controlled fashion. Job done. Anyway, that's what I've been playing with, and I'll show some of the sequences of making said tool. I thank you. Oh, there was one thing that happened that was quite exciting. HubNut. Ian Seabrook called here on his way back from Scotland in his new Rover. I offered to repair a key for him, which I did. Unfortunately, the remote repair wasn't successful. The remote was putting a signal out, but I fear that some of the doors weren't locking or unlocking on the central locking, and thereby the controller was getting the message that the door was locked when it was open, or vice versa, and wouldn't work. I could be wrong, but that's what it looked like to me. Anyway, that was exciting. HubNut in the shed. Second attempt, pin removal tool. Getting it set up and the item fixtured has been the biggest job for me. Obviously getting the code right as well was a bit of a trial and error. I'm using Fusion 360, and this is an adaptive code that I'm running at the minute. It's gradually homing in on the shape of the pin removal tool. I'm not running it very fast at the minute. It's quite a while since I've used this machine in anger, but I on to the next operation. I could probably speed it up, but I'm just going to leave it running at that speed for now. There it is. That's what we were making. What I'm hoping it's going to be is a pin removal tool for removing the blades out of these. You can see there's a small roll pin there, which is how the blades are fastened into the key. And by knocking that pin out, which most auto locksmiths do with pin removal tools, which are like I don't know if we can focus on this. Put it there, which are like that. So you need a vise to put the key in and to hold it, preferably slightly cocked like that, so the pin is more exposed. And then you put in said pin removal tool, comme ça, and give it a whack with an hammer. I thought I could make this, which would have a screw pin through the top and a very small anvil receiver at the bottom. That's got to be cut out yet, and there's got to be a thread put in there, and then work like a clamp. As you wind it in, hopefully it'll push the pin out. But I haven't tried it yet. I haven't seen one of these that you can buy, so maybe it might be a first. But we have the code now to make that, and with having these holes in it, I can just keep sticking blanks on it and keep machining them out all the same. Anyway, we'll see what happens with the next procedure. So far we have the aluminium bit machined out. As we saw, the external dimension was cut on the CNC mini mill, and since then I have these two holes are just location holes for the fixture. I've got no other way of holding it at the minute, so I've drilled and tapped a 4mm hole at end, and I have put possibly too wide of a slot. It could have been 2.5mm instead of 3mm, or even 2mm, a slot for the anvil. So hopefully that's where the pin, the roll pin, will come out of the key. So the next job is to make the pin. I have had one go at making the pin, and it was a disaster. I got a Draper 4mm tap in a holder, which I started off in the lathe, threading, and then I took it out and put it in the vise and proceeded to thread it by hand, because I don't stand too well these days at the lathe. And by the time I'd finished tapping the full length, it was like a corkscrew. Anyway, another go now. Well, this is the roll pin removal tool I made. This is the prototype. It probably could do with, well, I'm going to refine it in certain ways. It's approximately 20mm by 50, and it's got an M4 thread and a 1.5mm pin push in. It's got a small anvil with a slot in it for the roll pin to disappear into, and basically what it is they're very small, but there's the roll pin. Excuse the shaky hands. There's the roll pin. It's got to be removed out of the remote to remove the blade, and basically it works like this. Bit slow at the minute because I'm shaking like a shaky thing. Probably I should have sized it before we started, you know, get the pin down to the right dimensions first. But this is all real time, so I haven't got to go looking for a knock-in tool or a vise. I can just put the two pieces together like that and then wind in the handle. Just check that it is holding it in the right place, and it is, and then just slightly turn and it's all gone wrong. There we go. Right down to the bottom. I think I felt the pin drop out into my fingers. Back the tool up. And hey presto! And there, I'll drop it on the mat there. I don't know if you can see it. Is the roll pin that it pushed out, and of course it doesn't distort them by hammering on them and things. It just neatly pushes them, and I can just see the end of it there. Neatly pushes them out. So now we've got the prototype working, we will progress. The next model is going to be a bit fatter around here. No need for it to be just 10mm. I'm increasing that by 6mm, and the anvil will be about 3mm better. So when you've wound that back, it'll just be the pin showing, but it'll be further down, and I'm rambling now. So there we go. Nice brass knob in it. Yeah, I've even got a brass knob. There we go. Well, that was it for this one. at least I've made something. I'm pleased with that. And I'll give you a look at the finished article. I'm going to try and machine it in mild steel instead of aluminum or aluminium. Because of the strain it's put on the threads, it'd probably be alright, especially with the longer portion at that end. Especially with the longer portion where the threads are on the next ones. I'll see how it goes. Oh, the two holes there, in case you want to know, are fixturing holes. So all I've got to do is cut a blank. Well, I'm cutting the blanks 60 by 30, drilling those two holes 40mm apart, and then it just bolts onto the fixture on the machine. It's already centered now. I just press go and it'll cut another one. So there we go. I don't know if I could fixture it without the holes. Holes is easy. Right, thanks for watching, thanks for liking, subscribing, not liking. Bye for now.